You won't find too many people that say video games are better than school. But there's absolutely an area where video games are so much better than school. And that's when it comes to teaching that making mistakes is perfectly fine. Video games help kids to accept failure and to see that failure is all part of the learning and the growing process. What do I mean by that? I mean that whenever you're playing a video game, you die, you lose a life. But what happens? You get to start right back over and try again. This is very different than what happens in school. School, you're worried about a test, you take that test, and if you don't do great on it, that's it. That's the end. There is no improvement process to that. Even things such as spelling tests at the end of the week. If you don't master them that week, that's it. Your score is your score. There's no going back and getting better and trying again. But with video games, you're always working towards that end goal, and trial and error, failure, that's all part of the process. There are so many games out there where you can't beat the game the very first try. You get better each and every time. And it's very clear what your goal is. Your goal in a lot of video games, like in Mario, it's to save the princess. It's to get to the end goal. We're focused on the princess, on that final goal, not on the pitfalls or the challenges. We're not focused on where we made mistakes. We're still working towards that end goal. Video games do a phenomenal job of giving children lots of opportunities to work towards their goal, to make mistakes that they learn from, to get better, and to get to the goal. Mark Rober, a scientist, a YouTuber, a NASA engineer, came up with a study that he did. He took 50,000 participants and gave them a challenge. For half those people doing the challenge, anytime they failed at the challenge, they were given a message that said they lost 5 points. They only had so many points remaining. And then the other group of people, whenever they failed that challenge, they got a message that just said, it didn't work this time, keep on trying.
That minor difference is crucial to keep in mind for the results I'm about to show you from the 50,000 data points we collected. For those who were penalized for failed attempts, their success rate was around 52%. For those who were not penalized, their success rate was 68%. That statistically significant delta of 16% was really surprising and almost seemed too hard to believe until we looked at another piece of data that we collected, which was attempts to solve before finding success. It's shown in orange right here.
The people that didn't have points that they were losing and saw that it was ultimately the end goal that mattered, they were 15% more likely to solve the goal, to finish the project, to get to the end. What do we want our children to do? We want them to make goals and get to those goals. But what do we do in school whenever they have those goals and are trying to get to them? We give them scores. We tell them what they didn't do right, and then we mark them and say that's it. But in real life and in engineering, you're working towards a goal. And if you don't meet that goal the first time, you get the chance to try again. And if you don't meet the goal the second time, you get to improve, to change what you're doing, and to try again. Here at Sprattronics Learning Lab, we do all sorts of game-type learning. We have something that we call our robotics games. And this is 15 different missions that kids can participate in and try to solve. They don't get scores for how they do or how many tries they take. They ultimately get told their win condition and how many points that's going to give them. And then, if they don't get all the points for their win condition, they can try a new robot design or try a new code to get there. Video games do an incredible job of teaching that failure and mistakes are part of learning and part of getting better. This is an area that school does not do well at all. Too many kids are having to be told that they're not a 100% student. They're not an A student. And that's just who they are. They don't get a chance to go back and try again. They don't get a chance to demonstrate that they can make it to the goal. Ultimately, what we want kids to do, we want them to become great readers, great writers, and to be able to solve problems. Video games allow them to do this. School, on the other hand, it gives them a static score and leaves it at that. And so anytime that you can give students the opportunity to learn from their mistakes and to realize that failure isn't something to hold them back, but rather something to learn and grow from, then you're going to be doing a fantastic job. But until that happens, you're going to be giving kids a number, and that number's who they're going to identify with, and that leads to anxiety.
So let's maximize our education by focusing on those end goals, what we're trying to accomplish, and make failure a part of the learning process. It's just a step to get to our really cool